This is the important part of the presentation. What will you do? First of all, you have a 21-year head start. You know something 99.8% of the capital in the world does not yet know, right? You know that this thing is unstoppable. You know that everybody needs it, and very few people understand it. That's the most valuable information in the world. If I told you Bitcoin was going to 21 million tomorrow, that's not useful. It's too late. I'm giving you something much more valuable. I'm giving you 21 years to leverage that information while everybody else is oblivious, while everybody else is afraid, while everybody else is distracted. You can do something. If you build the right machine, build a money-making machine for yourself. If you build the right machine and you plug it into the Bitcoin network, it will grow stronger every day. It will grow stronger every year. It will compound extraordinary wealth. Extraordinary wealth. And you will change your world. You have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change the destiny of everybody in your bloodline, to change the destiny of your community, everything you hold dear, to change the political course of human history. You can do it. You have the opportunity because you have the most valuable information in the world. And the question is, how are you going to do it? What is your Bitcoin strategy? You need a 21-year plan, right? If you have the vision, but you don't have a plan, you're just dreaming, right? You're not going to get there by talking about it. You need clarity. You need to know what's going to happen. You need courage. You need to be willing to take a risk. You need to put your own economic interest at risk. You're going to need to take a courageous step. And then you need to take action. Clarity, courage, action. People that understand Bitcoin buy Bitcoin. People that don't understand Bitcoin talk about Bitcoin. So what are you going to do? You're going to build a long-term plan based on disciplined work, responsible finance, sound engineering, and Bitcoin. So I'm going to lay out a few possible options for you here, and then you can decide what you want to do and how aggressively you want to do it. Let's start with this one. DCA, dollar cost averaging. What is the strategy? The strategy is work carefully for the next 21 years, buy 50,000 US dollars worth of Bitcoin each year, increase your savings by 5% a year, and then hold the Bitcoin. That's a strategy. What happens if you do that? Okay, well, you can see your investment's going to gradually increment by the 5%. Over the 21 years, you'll end up putting $2 million of cash. And what's your outcome? You're going to end up with 1.9 Bitcoin. It's going to be worth $40 million. Okay, $40 million. How does that compare to other strategies? Well, if you take the same money and you put it into the 60-40 portfolio, if you're a conventional investor, if you take the advice of your financial advisor, you will have $4 million. If you put it in the S&P index, don't diversify out of that, you're going to have $6 million. If you actually invest in Bitcoin, but then every time Bitcoin doubles, you rebalance the portfolio. If you're responsible and you engage in that rebalancing, you'll have 15 million. If you let Bitcoin run by a factor of 10 and then you take money off the top and you rebalance that way, you'll have 28 million. And if you just buy the Bitcoin and don't think about the rest, you have 40. So the difference between conventional and Bitcoin is a factor of 10x. That's the DCA strategy. What's the next strategy? Leverage. Borrow $1 million up front. Pay less than 10% interest if you can. You're leveraging your future. You're going to tap your underutilized assets. If you got to sell your chairs, sell your chairs. Mortgage your house. Use capital intelligently. Ask your family for a loan. Approach your grandfather, your grandmother, your father, your sister, your uncle, your brother. Ask your friends next. Don't pay off your student loans. Definitely don't pay off your mortgage. Okay, what happens? Well, that's a single jolt of energy, one time. It's worth $190 million to you. Okay, okay, that's actually the payoff of courage, taking a risk. What happens if you combine the two together? You basically borrow the money up front, you DCA, and then every year you leverage 5% of your existing Bitcoin stack into Bitcoin again. This is what the outlook or the outcome looks like. You're going to end up with $260 million of US dollar value. You end up with approximately 14 Bitcoin, and you can see the recycling of the leverage is a very powerful technique here. What about a financial strategy? Let's just take that a little bit further. What if I just recycle 15% leverage? Not 5%, 15%. You can still survive an 80%, 70, 60% drawdown. What happens? This. You'll be up to $370 million. And then here's a business strategy. I form a company. I maintain 10% leverage. I issue 5% equity every year at a multiple of NAV of 2. 5% dilution a year on a business. Okay, what happens there? Well, you're going to generate $760 million of wealth by issuing equity and by staying a little bit levered. And so you can see it when you consider these comparisons, right? DCA is work hard, invest in Bitcoin. Leverage is use some financial engineering. The DCA plus leverage takes you much further. The financial strategy, of course, is almost 10 times the DCA. And then the business strategy, of course, is extraordinary, almost 20x. Now, let's talk about tradecraft. How do you do this without getting liquidated? How do you do this in an intelligent fashion? So this is a credit matrix. On the y-axis is the interest rate you're paying. On the x-axis is the duration of the credit instrument. If you're borrowing money for less than 5 years, 4 years, you're a gambler. When you're borrowing short-term money, you may get liquidated, especially when you're borrowing money for 4 weeks or 4 days or 4 hours. This is a little bit of a risky zone. When you're borrowing money that costs you 20 or 30% interest in short duration, you are a loan shark victim. Okay, this is suicidal. You're going to get your legs broken. Do not do that. When you borrow money at expensive rates for long periods of time, you are an indentured servant. You're a debt slave. You're going to work your entire life. You're going to have nothing to show for it. That does not make sense. What you want to do is borrow money for 10 years or longer, and you'd like to get the interest rate below 10%. So 10-year duration, less than 10%. If you get to a 30-year loan with 3 or 4% interest, you're a financial genius. You know what that is? That's mortgaging your house 2 years ago to buy Bitcoin, right? That's the thing that all the non-coiners made fun of us for. But if you were smart enough to take a 30-year or 20-year mortgage at 3 or 4% and buy Bitcoin, you are a financial genius. Not complicated. You're swapping 3 or 4% cost of capital for a 29% return on the capital. What about equity? Okay, so you have a company. If you sell 90% of the company at 3 times NAV, you just cashed out. You made a lot of money, you're retired. You're going to sit in a rocking chair, you're rich. Congratulations, right? That is your exit strategy. If you basically sold 50, 60% of your company at 3, 4, 5 times NAV, you're a racehorse. You're going to be racing. You'll have a jockey. that's good. You're in business with other people. If you manage to sell 20% at 7 times NAV, you're looking like a unicorn. People are going to write books about you. You're going to be the cover of magazines. And if you can actually sell less than 10% of your company at a 7, 8, 9 times NAV, you're Pegasus, okay? You're a superstar, a shooting star, right? They're going to write entire books and teach courses about you, right? So that red line is the no-go line. If you're selling equity below 1 times NAV, you're diluting your own shareholders, right? That's awful. And so you got to stay above that. Now, some common objections. You're going to hear these objections. You're going to hear more of them from all of your, wealthy financial advisors or wealthy friends that are no-coiners. And they're going to say things like, hey, it's too late. It's too late, you did it, but, if I'd done it back in 2013 or done it in 2020 or done it whenever, it's too late. But here's what I have to say. Henry Ford decided to harness fire 1 million years after human beings discovered fire. It was not too late. It's not too late to use the wheel. It's not too late to master explosives. It's not too late. If you need a gun and someone invented a gun 500 years ago, you're not going to say, well, I guess it's too late for me. Or how about English? Someone learned English before you. It's too late. It's an old language. I guess it's not that useful anymore. Or to fly. I'm not the first person to fly. There's another company in my town. They installed electricity. It's too late for my company. After all, someone else installed electricity first. I don't really need electricity. It's too late. Or the mobile phone. Too late to use a computer. Too late to get on the internet. Too late to go to space. It's too late to buy a Bitcoin. Here's what they're missing. Bitcoin's technology. It's not a speculation. It's the ignorant speculators that think it's too late because they don't understand that it's digital energy, it's digital technology. It's never too late to master technology. And I would leave you with the thought, it's never too late to do the right thing. I mean, it's very simple. Second big objection, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's tulip bulbs, blah, blah, blah. It seems too good to be true. The 4 most dangerous words in finance, this time it's different. John Templeton. Well, Sir John Templeton is not on the walls of MIT's great court. They have Newton and Madame Curie and Einstein, and Galileo, but they did not put his name up there because he's not a scientist or an engineer. And the point is, this is different. Fire is different. Water is different. Wind is different. These things, guns, germs, when the Spaniards show up in the New World and 90% of the Native American Indians die because of the germs, it was different, right? These things are not the same. John D. Rockefeller noticed oil was different. If you're actually basing your strategy on a technology or a paradigm shift, then in fact, it is different. And the point here is Bitcoin is different. That's why it matters. People that tell you it's not different, they don't understand it, don't be swayed by them. And now, I'm going to end with some final thoughts. There's a saying in the American West, the cowards never started, the weak died along the way. In this case, to never start means to never invest in Bitcoin. If you have your money and it's invested in not Bitcoin, you never started. You have to put your capital into Bitcoin. And then the weak dying along the way, okay, well, you did a stupid deal with a loan shark and he broke your legs because you borrowed money for 4 weeks at 37%. Okay, don't do that, right? It's not an easy journey, but neither is getting in a wooden ship and sailing across the Atlantic an easy journey. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Everybody in this room can watch or wait, or you can go and create the future. Metaplanet's creating a future in Japan. H1's creating a future in Sweden. Smarter Web is creating a future. BTC Prague is creating a future. Everybody here is creating the future. Build a machine, put energy in it, turn the crank, harness the energy. 21 is the winning hand. You're sitting at a blackjack table and you get a king and an ace. You can't lose. We've got the winning hand, 21 in 21 years. You know it? There's only one way to lose, and that's not to play the game. Should you magically develop the ability to see the future 60 seconds in advance, and you're sitting at the blackjack table and you see blackjack coming, bet large. Right? That's how you win. You have to play the game. You have to bet. You have a winning hand. Play it. Embrace the volatility. Volatility is Satoshi's gift to the faithful. If Bitcoin was not volatile, people with more money than you, more power than you, would outbid you for the Bitcoin. You couldn't have it. The only reason you have the opportunity, the only reason that you have a 21-year head start is because it's volatile. At the point that it becomes completely predictable, Warren Buffett will say, oh yeah, we get it. We just bought all the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin went to 20 million a coin. Your opportunity is gone. You don't actually get rich if this thing doesn't stay volatile. In chaos lies opportunity. It's not the bug, it's the feature. Revel in it. When you're on a ship tossed by a turbulent sea and you get seasick, what do they tell you to do? Focus on the horizon. Look out. What is the horizon? The horizon is 21 years, and what's on the horizon? $21 million. And don't pay attention to what's happening in the here and now. Look out. It will calm you. You won't do something you're going to regret later. HODL, what does it mean? It means ignore the noise. It means the noise dilutes your performance. It distracts your attention. It detracts from your quality of life. The news media, everybody is constructed to actually generate noise, to generate inflammation, to tell you, oh, this or that or the other thing, and you have to avoid allowing it to make you make a mistake or wreck your life. HODL. Remember, on the horizon, 4.8 Bitcoin makes you a centimillionaire. You'll be 300 times as wealthy as the average middle-class person at that point. 48 Bitcoin makes you a billionaire in 21 years if you can get to 48 Bitcoin. And trust me, you're going to want to get to 48 Bitcoin if you can. Why? This is the chance to build your legacy, right? Thinking beyond yourself, you can do it for your family, do it for your children. If you don't do it for your children, do it for your community, do it for your way of life. At the end of the day, do it for everybody in this room. Do it for the people that took this journey with you, that bled, that sacrificed, that took risk, that fought for this thing that you have an opportunity to share in. This is your legacy. Leave that. If you don't leave it to your children, leave it to the Bitcoin community. And I will see you at 21 million. Be there. Thank you.
Give it up for Michael Saylor.